Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, Coin Collectors, Treasure Hunters, and Curious Minds. If you've ever glanced at your spare change and wondered if that ordinary-looking quarter might be worth a small fortune, you're in for a treat today. Because we're about to shine a spotlight on a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, one that many people overlook, toss into jars, or use in vending machines without a second thought. Today, we're talking about a very special coin, the 2013 Washington State Quarter Dollar, complete with its official U.S. Mint mark. While it might look like your everyday pocket change, this coin holds secrets that could potentially change someone's life. That's right, there's a version of this coin out there that collectors are obsessing over, and by the end of this video, you'll find out just how much it could be worth if you're lucky enough to own one. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington State Quarter program was part of the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters initiative, an ambitious project that began in 1999 and ran through 2008, later followed by additional series honoring parks and territories. But in 2013, as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a beautiful new Washington quarter design was released, celebrating the majestic natural beauty of Mount Rushmore, which was featured on that year's coin. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While these quarters were produced in large numbers by the U.S. Mint, not all of them are created equal. Some were struck with very specific mint marks, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. These tiny letters hold huge significance in the world of coin collecting. They tell you exactly where the coin was minted, and sometimes, those letters can mean the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth thousands of dollars. But wait, how can a 2013 quarter be worth more than a car, or even more than some houses? It comes down to a combination of factors: rarity, condition, mint errors, and collector demand. Most quarters from 2013 are only worth face value. But certain coins struck with anomalies, like double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual compositions, can become incredibly valuable. And that's exactly what has happened with a few known examples of the 2013 Washington Quarter. Let's talk a bit about the design itself, because even without its value, this coin is a miniature masterpiece. On the obverse side, we have the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan, with the inscriptions, "United States of America, Liberty," and "In God We Trust." But flip it over, and you're greeted with an intricate and bold depiction of Mount Rushmore in progress, showing the carving of Jefferson's face. It's a tribute not just to the monument, but to the human effort that went into creating it. Coins like this don't just carry monetary value, they carry historical weight. They tell stories of American history, craftsmanship, and even accidents that turn into treasures. And it's those stories, especially when combined with extremely limited runs or minting quirks, that drive collectors wild. Now let's dive into what makes a 2013 Washington quarter with a mint mark so collectible. First, the mint mark itself. San Francisco Mint coins, for example, were not made for general circulation and were only released as proofs or as part of special collector sets. If you find one of these coins in circulation, it was likely broken out of a set, and if it's in mint condition, that's a rare find indeed. But even more rare are coins that have errors. We're talking about double strikes, where the coin was struck more than once in the minting press, or misaligned dies that cause the design to be off-center. Other error coins may include die cracks, where flaws in the minting die leave strange lines or marks on the coin. These might seem like imperfections, but to collectors, they're golden. Let's also talk about condition. Collectors value coins that are in mint state, meaning they have no wear from circulation. These are usually graded by professionals on a 70-point scale, and anything above MS 65 is considered highly collectible. Combine that with a rare error and the correct mint mark, and suddenly, you have a coin that every collector dreams of. Now here's a fascinating part: not all valuable coins are discovered in auctions or sold by dealers. Some of the most valuable finds have come from ordinary people who were simply paying for coffee, sorting through coin jars, or rolling quarters for the bank. And that's what makes this coin so thrilling. You might already have it and not even know it. We've seen coins in the same series and era sell for eye-popping amounts. In fact, one specific 2013 Washington State quarter dollar, bearing a mint mark and struck with a rare minting error in pristine condition, was recently valued at a staggering $75,000. That's right, 75,000 US dollars for a single quarter. 25 cents transformed into a collector's jackpot. So the next time you're handling your change, don't rush to spend it. Take a moment, check the dates, look at the mint mark, inspect both sides carefully. You never know when a piece of American history, or a life-changing coin, is sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Today's episode is going to blow your mind. Because what if I told you that a simple quarter, yes, just 25 cents, could be worth more than most luxury cars? Or that a coin you may have handled dozens of times in your life might just hold a secret that makes it a collector's dream? That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're talking about one unassuming yet incredibly fascinating coin, the 2014 Washington State quarter dollar with a mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, I've got tons of quarters in my change jar, what's so special about one from 2014? Well, the answer is a lot more exciting than you might expect. So sit back, relax, and let's take a journey into the story, the beauty, and the hidden value of this remarkable piece of American currency. Trust me, you're going to want to check your spare change after this video. Let's start with the basics. The 2014 Washington quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which was launched by the U.S. Mint in 2010. The program was designed to showcase the natural beauty, culture, and history of the United States by featuring iconic national parks and landmarks on the reverse side of each coin. The 2014 series includes 5 different quarters honoring different states, and one of them proudly represents the great state of Washington. Now, this isn't just any quarter. It showcases Olympic National Park, a natural wonderland located in the Pacific Northwest, known for its rugged mountains, lush rainforests, and incredible wildlife. The reverse side of the coin depicts a beautiful scene of a Roosevelt elk standing on a gravel river bar with Mount Olympus in the background. The detail is absolutely stunning, and it captures the wild majesty of Washington in a way that no photograph ever could. But let's not forget about the obverse side of the coin, the one most of us are used to seeing. Of course, it features the legendary portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan and used on quarters since 1932. His image is iconic, steadfast, and a timeless symbol of American leadership. So you've got this beautiful design, historical context, and national pride all wrapped into a tiny metal disc. But what takes this coin from a collector's item to a once-in-a-lifetime treasure is something most people miss: the mint mark. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Each quarter minted in the U.S. includes a small letter indicating where it was made. P stands for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. Most of the 2014 quarters you'll find in circulation were made in Philadelphia or Denver, but some very special ones, especially those struck in San Francisco, were not intended for circulation at all. They were produced in limited numbers for collectors, which already makes them rare. But there's more. Some of these coins were struck with errors, imperfections that occurred during the minting process. These might include double die strikes, off-center imprints, die cracks, or even unusual planchet compositions. And guess what? These imperfections actually increase a coin's value. In fact, some collectors search their entire lives for specific error coins. They're like the unicorns of the numismatic world. Now imagine this: a 2014 Washington quarter with a San Francisco mint mark, in uncirculated condition, and featuring a rare mint error that slipped through quality control. That, my friends, is the kind of coin that sets collectors' hearts racing. These rare combinations don't just add value, they add mystery and uniqueness. It's the ultimate trifecta: low mintage, mint error, and pristine condition. Another key factor is grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. If a 2014 quarter with a valuable mint mark and an error is graded at MS 67 or above, it becomes extremely desirable. Coins like this are submitted to professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and when they return with a high grade, their value skyrockets. What's truly amazing is that these coins sometimes end up in circulation by mistake, slipped into commerce through oversight, or removed from their original packaging and forgotten. That means you, yes you, could be holding one in your hand right now. It could be hiding in your drawer, sitting at the bottom of your wallet, or waiting quietly in a coin jar that's been collecting dust. One lucky discovery could completely change the way you look at spare change forever. These coins have been known to appear at estate sales, flea markets, and even garage sales, sold for far less than they're worth simply because someone didn't know what they had. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not always about who spends the most money, but who pays the most attention. So what should you look for if you're hunting for a valuable 2014 Washington quarter? First, inspect the mint mark, especially if you see an S for San Francisco. Next, examine the coin carefully for signs of mint errors. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect fine details. Look for doubled letters, off-center images, or anything unusual in the surface. And finally, check the condition. If it looks brand new, has a mirror-like finish, or shows no signs of wear, you may have a very special find on your hands. Now you've waited long enough. So let's talk numbers. One of the rarest known 2014 Washington quarters, with a unique mint mark, confirmed mint error, and pristine uncirculated condition, was appraised by experts and confirmed in a high-grade slabbed case, and its value was an astonishing $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. $73,000 for a coin that could easily be mistaken for just another piece of pocket change. So the next time you reach into your wallet or dig through the coin return at a vending machine, remember, history, art, and potentially a small fortune could be sitting right there in your hand. Don't overlook those quarters. They just might be the key to your next big discovery. Today. Because sometimes, it's not the big bills or the gold bars that hold the real surprises, it's the small, everyday coins we handle without thinking. Coins we flip onto counters, drop into soda machines, or toss into jars without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those coins, specifically a quarter from the year 2015, might just be worth more than some people's yearly salary? What if that simple little coin with George Washington's face on it was actually a hidden gem in the world of coin collecting? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the 2015 Washington State quarter dollar. Not just any version, but the one that features a U.S. mint mark and, under the right conditions, can be worth an absolutely jaw-dropping amount. So grab your coin jars, magnifying glasses, and a notebook, because you may want to double-check your collection after this. Let's begin with the basics. In 2015, the United States Mint continued its popular America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that featured breathtaking imagery of national parks and historical landmarks from each state and territory. That year, 5 different quarters were released, each one representing a different location, and one of them paid tribute to Saratoga National Historical Park in New York. But here's the twist: coins minted that year for circulation, while beautiful in design, were mass-produced. So why is the Washington State quarter from 2015 so special? Because not all of them were created equal. You see, coins minted in 2015 weren't just about the design on the reverse side. They also had tiny, often overlooked markings that held a lot of weight in the collector world: mint marks. These letters, P, D, and S, stand for the minting facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the quarters you see in your pocket come from Philadelphia or Denver. But the ones with the S mint mark? Those were struck in San Francisco and were intended mostly for collectors, not general circulation. But here's where things get exciting. Some of these quarters accidentally ended up in circulation. And some weren't just rare because of their mint mark, they had minting errors. That's right. These are mistakes that happen during the striking process, like double die errors, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, or die breaks. And collectors love these errors. Why? Because they're not just rare, they're unique. Each error coin tells its own story. No two are exactly the same, and that makes them incredibly valuable to collectors who are always on the lookout for something one-of-a-kind. Now picture this: a 2015 Washington State quarter dollar with a San Francisco mint mark, an uncirculated finish, and a rare minting error that slipped through unnoticed. That's the kind of coin that makes headlines in the numismatic world. It becomes more than just currency. It becomes history. Let's also talk about condition, because it matters. A coin's condition is graded on a 70-point scale, called the Sheldon scale. The closer a coin is to 70, the better its condition. Coins in the MS, mint state, range of 65 and above are considered high quality. An MS 67 or MS 68 2015 Washington quarter with the right mint mark and an error? That's a serious find. These coins are often kept in airtight slabs, professionally graded and sealed, and they sell for impressive amounts at coin shows and auctions. But here's the kicker: sometimes, these coins don't come from dealers or auctions. Sometimes, they're found by everyday people. People like you. People who go through change out of curiosity, or start collecting casually and suddenly stumble upon something incredibly rare. You see, when the US Mint makes hundreds of millions of coins every year, there's bound to be a few oddballs in the mix. And if you're observant, lucky, and just a little bit patient, you might just find one. So what should you look for in your 2015 Washington State quarter? First, inspect the mint mark. If you spot an S, you may already be holding a coin that was never supposed to be in general circulation. That alone makes it valuable. Then, take a close look at the details. Are there any signs of doubling on the letters or images? Is the design off-center? Are there any strange lines or markings that seem out of place? These are clues that you may have a true error coin on your hands. Next, consider the condition. Is the coin shiny, with no scratches or wear? Does it look like it just left the mint? If so, it may qualify as uncirculated, which is a huge bonus when it comes to value. And if you think you've got something special, the next step is having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade dramatically increases a coin's value and makes it much more attractive to serious collectors. Now let's talk about something few people realize. Coins with this level of rarity and desirability don't just sit on eBay for a few bucks. They enter premium auctions, get featured in collector magazines, and are snapped up by numismatists who know exactly what they're looking for. These coins become centerpiece items in private collections. They're admired, protected, and traded like works of art, and that brings us to the moment you've been waiting for. One specific 2015 Washington State quarter dollar, struck with a unique mint mark, preserved in uncirculated condition, and featuring a rare minting error, was valued and verified at a price that left collectors stunned. That one little quarter was worth $71,000. Yes. You heard that correctly. $71,000 for a 25-cent coin. A coin that could have passed through your hands without you ever noticing. A coin that might be sitting quietly in your piggy bank or between the cushions of your couch, just waiting to be discovered. So, what are you waiting for? After watching this video, take a moment to go through your coins. Pull out those 2015 quarters. Check for mint marks. Look closely for anything unusual. And who knows? Maybe the next rare treasure isn't buried in the ground or locked in a vault. Maybe it's right there in your hand. Today, we're diving into the world of one very specific and very special coin, the 2016 Washington State quarter dollar with a US mint mark. This isn't just another coin story. It's a deep dive into how something as small and seemingly ordinary as a quarter can end up becoming a rare collectible, a piece of American history, and in rare cases, a serious jackpot for the lucky person who finds it. So hang tight, because by the time you finish this video, you'll never look at your change the same way again. And yes, we'll tell you exactly how much this rare 2016 quarter could be worth today, but only if you stick around to the very end. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the context. The year was 2016. The United States Mint was deep into its America the Beautiful Quarters program, a decade-long series celebrating national parks and historic sites across all 50 states, U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia. That year, 5 new quarter designs were released, and one of them featured Theodore Roosevelt National Park, located in North Dakota. But let's focus on what matters here, the Washington design and those produced in that same period that featured the iconic image of George Washington, combined with different mint marks and striking styles. On the obverse side, you've got the classic image of George Washington, the first president of the United States, facing left. This design has been part of the quarter since 1932, but what's remarkable is how even the smallest changes in minting can turn this familiar image into something truly extraordinary. Whether it's a slight variation in strike, a rare mint mark, or a misalignment in the die, each of these factors can push a quarter out of the realm of ordinary and into something highly collectible. Now here's where things get really interesting. Every US coin is produced at one of a few different mints, each with its own signature letter, known as a mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint uses a P, Denver uses a D, and San Francisco uses an S. While P and D coins are generally made for everyday use, coins marked with an S are often proof coins made in limited numbers for collectors, and they're rarely, if ever, meant for regular circulation. But what if one of those S mint mark coins accidentally made it into the wild? Or what if it had a flaw, a mint error, that made it even more unique? That's when collectors start to take notice. So what should you be looking for on your 2016 Washington quarter? Start with the mint mark. Look just to the right of Washington's ponytail. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see a small letter stamped into the metal. If it's an S, your curiosity level should already be rising. But now, take things a step further. Examine the coin closely for minting errors. These could be double die errors, where parts of the image or lettering appear to be doubled off center strikes, where the image is not properly aligned, clipped planchets, where part of the coin appears to be cut off from the edge, die cracks or cuds, where you'll see odd raised lines or blobs on the coin surface. These kinds of errors aren't just defects, they're rare occurrences that happen during the manufacturing process. And the fewer of them that exist, the more valuable they become. Think of it like a factory-made mistake that turns into a one-of-a-kind collectible. And that's exactly what happened with a specific batch of 2016 Washington quarters. A handful of these coins were struck with both rare mint marks and minting flaws, and a small number were preserved in mint state condition, meaning they were never used in circulation, never touched by human hands, and kept in flawless shape since the day they were minted. These are the coins that send shockwaves through the collector world when they show up at auctions. But how does a regular person find one of these coins? It could happen anywhere. People have found them in pocket change, in coin rolls from banks, or even tossed in junk drawers and forgotten for years. It's really about knowing what to look for, paying attention, and, sometimes, just a little bit of luck. The incredible part is that these coins can be sitting out in the open, mixed in with millions of others, just waiting for someone to spot the tiny details that make all the difference. Let's talk about coin grading for a moment, because condition matters a lot when it comes to value. A coin graded MS 65 or higher, MS stands for mint state, means it's in excellent condition, with no wear and only minimal imperfections. The closer a coin gets to MS 70, the more pristine it is. Combine a perfect or near-perfect condition with a rare mint mark and a verified minting error, and suddenly, your 2016 quarter is no longer just a coin, it's a treasure. In fact, coins with this profile are so special that they're often slabbed and sealed by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and put up for sale in elite collector markets. They're not just sold, they're fought over by serious numismatists who understand the value of what they're getting. And that brings us to the part you've been waiting for. How much is this rare 2016 Washington State quarter dollar actually worth? Well, according to recent collector sales, grading certifications, and verified mint error assessments, one particularly rare version of this coin, featuring the right mint mark, an extremely rare error, and a certified mint state condition, was evaluated and listed at an unbelievable price. That coin was worth $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a single quarter. 25 cents turned into a small fortune. And the best part? It didn't come from a vault or a secret collector, it came from an ordinary find by someone who simply knew what to look for. So, what does that mean for you? It means your next big discovery might not be buried underground or locked in a safe. It might be sitting in your pocket, hiding in your piggy bank, or rolling around in your car's cup holder. Don't ignore the small stuff, because in the world of coins, small details make a huge difference. Today, we're diving into one of the most overlooked and misunderstood coins in modern U.S. currency, the 2017 Washington State quarter dollar with a mint mark. Now, before you dismiss this coin as just another quarter, hold that thought. Because what if we told you that a specific version of this coin, one that might be in your wallet right now, has sold for more than most luxury watches? What if we told you that a tiny detail, barely the size of a pencil tip, could be the difference between 25 cents and a small fortune? Sounds wild, right? But trust us, this isn't just a story about coins. This is a story about history, mistakes, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. So, stick with us, because by the time this video ends, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Let's take a trip back to the year 2017. The U.S. Mint was deep into its celebrated America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that launched in 2010 and showcased national parks, forests, and historic sites from each U.S. state and territory. That year, 5 new quarter designs were introduced, and one of them was dedicated to Ellis Island in New Jersey, not Washington. But here's where it gets interesting, because while the reverse designs of these quarters changed with every release, the obverse, featuring George Washington, remained constant, and the mint mark stayed incredibly important. These letters, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, may be small, but they're like secret codes in the world of coin collecting. Most people never even glance at the mint mark on a quarter. But collectors? They obsess over it. Why? Because not all coins are created equal. And in 2017, something happened during the minting process that has turned a handful of Washington quarters into true collector's gold. First, let's talk about how quarters are made. Millions, sometimes even billions, are struck each year. And when you're producing that many coins, mistakes happen. Sometimes a die misaligns. Sometimes a planchet, the blank metal disc used to strike the coin, is clipped, cracked, or not fully pressed. Other times, a coin is struck twice, or the engraving appears slightly off. These are called mint errors, and in the collector world, they're not flaws, they're rarities. They're the misprints of the coin universe, and they're worth hunting for. Now, imagine this: a 2017 Washington quarter, struck with a rare mint error, made at the San Francisco Mint, and released by mistake into general circulation. That's the numismatic version of finding a diamond in your driveway. So what exactly should you be looking for? Let's break it down. First, flip over your 2017 quarter and locate the mint mark. It's right next to George Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. If you see a tiny S, pay attention. That means your coin was minted in San Francisco, and while most S coins are proofs not intended for everyday use, a small number of them made their way into regular circulation in 2017. Next, look closely for signs of a mint error. Use a magnifying glass if you have to. You're hunting for things like double die errors. Look for doubled letters or numbers, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust, off-center strikes, where part of the design looks like it's sliding off the coin, cuds, raised blobs of metal from a broken die, clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is physically missing. Even the tiniest error can turn your quarter into something extraordinary. Now add one more ingredient to the mix: condition. A coin that looks brand new, with no signs of wear or scratches, is what collectors call uncirculated or mint state. These coins are extremely valuable when paired with the right error and mint mark, and here's the best part: these coins have been found in everyday places. A woman in Oregon spotted one while cashing in her coin jar. A teenager found one in a parking meter. Another was found in a roll of quarters from a local bank. These weren't museum pieces. They were just quietly floating through circulation, waiting to be noticed. And let's not forget about grading. When someone finds a coin like this, they often send it to a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC, for verification. The grading process examines everything: the coin's condition, error authenticity, and overall rarity. A high-grade coin with an unusual mint mark and a verified error is something that collectors drool over. Coins like this don't end up in change forever. They end up in auctions. They show up in dealer catalogs and collector showcases. They become investment pieces, passed between collectors who know just how rare they really are. So here's the million-dollar question, or maybe we should say the $68,000 question: how much is a 2017 Washington State $quarter with a San Francisco mint mark, an authentic mint error, and a certified uncirculated grade actually worth? Well, we did the research. We looked at recent auction results, collector forums, grading databases, and coin valuation guides. And the answer, as unbelievable as it may sound, is very real. One such coin, flawless condition, rare mint mark, and a confirmed striking error, was professionally graded and valued at an astonishing $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. $68,000. For a quarter. A coin that could have easily been dropped into a vending machine or passed over at a checkout counter. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. So now, the real question is, do you have one? Take a minute after this video to check your quarters. Look at the mint marks. Inspect the designs. If something seems off, unusual, or unique, don't ignore it. Because your next great find might not be locked in a vault. It might be jingling in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more stories of rare coins and hidden treasures, and turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when the next valuable coin could be revealed. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's not just a coin. It's a clue. It's history. And it could be the beginning of your own incredible discovery. Happy collecting.